Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to Sea Goat Secrets. Capricorn, I just wanted to make a little bit of a PSA. I wanted to show you guys the birth chart assessments and how they are looking now. Yes, they are very long, just so you guys can know, but the structure has been solidified, and I'm happy to say that. This is the new way of being for these. And of course, if you guys want them, they are in Alright, so Capricorn, this is November, and obviously we're not there yet, but there is a lot going on in November in terms of change, transits, and energy shifts, which I think are much needed and also beautiful to see and experience. And the number one thing that I feel like is the catalyst to this is Pisces going direct, or the Pisces Saturn going direct. Obviously, you are heavily influenced by Saturn because it is ultimately your main placement, but this is going direct while we are in Scorpio season, and Scorpio has a wonderful relationship with you, Capricorn. And so this kind of is seeing this watery shift, and with this momentum moving when it comes to the subconscious mind, the emotions, emotional development. There's a lot of emotional satisfaction that you are going to be feeling in the process of this shift and this move, which is nice. Scorpio season kind of has you in your, I was going to say in your feelings, but it's not necessarily that. It's more like it has you in a space that is deep within yourself. You're really exploring the barrels of your soul, and you've been through a lot, and so ultimately you're again sitting at this intersectional space of growth and development, especially with the Taurus. We're actually in the Taurus eclipse energy right now, and it's very thick, and this has you understanding your worth and your value, but on a very, very deep soul blood level. And that's going to continue all throughout Scorpio season, of you really understanding the taste of your own blood. And what do I mean by that? The depth of who it is that you are, and the things that make up your character, your identity, your spirit, and what it is that you want out of your life. It's a deep sense of worthiness from this eclipse transit, but it's intersecting with Scorpio to bring about this strong sense of value, because you're so aware of yourself. But a lot of it is going to take place in the subconscious mind, and conscious, obviously. So a lot of it is going to take place within the mind and the emotional body throughout Scorpio season, and see a really big jump when we move into Sagittarius season. It does not mean that Scorpio season is going to be filled with delays, not at all, especially as I said, with Pisces going direct, you're going to see a lot of movement. So where you were stalling in terms of your internal projects or things that you wanted to see change in your character and in your life, these things are going to be able to then push forward. If you are learning a language, if you are studying, if you are, it could also be your relationship with your siblings, it could be relationships with your neighborhood or your neighbors, etc. Whatever was stalling, which was causing this kind of, this moment where you had to revisit things, you had to go into the past, you had to take out different parts of yourself, and figure things out. That's what this stall, this retrograde, has brought forth, and now it's able to push forward. So all of the momentum, things that you have been dreaming about, thinking about, especially as we move forward with the month, and I will explain to you why. So as we go into the Saturn transit, so as I said, growth and momentum with Saturn moving direct. You guys are also going to be doing a lot of expanded thinking, but again, it's going within your spiritual body. So most of the expansion takes place when we go into Sagittarius season, but while we're still sitting in Scorpio season, it's a deep, watery depth of self space to be in. And I know that sometimes for you, Capricorn, you don't want to be too smothered by the ocean. You want to kind of feel like you can have some of your land legs. So it's very important to mention that it does not mean that during this time in November you're going to feel overwhelmed or bombarded emotionally, because you will not. It's more like a very stable, quiet, comfortable space where you are in deep manifestation mode. So what it is that you want to see come through when it comes to your life, and what it is that you want to create, even just, because again, this is your self reading, so down to the parts of your character, ways in which you want to look, your hair, your eyes, your presentation, the way you show up in the world. Scorpio season is giving you a lot of self-empowerment and a lot of awareness with what it is that makes you uniquely you, and the things to love about yourself within that process. And as you dive within yourself on a spiritual level and kind of gain power from that more internal space, especially because you are going to be more comfortable there as things in your external world start to move forward with the direct, with Pisces going direct in Saturn. So blocks that you are running into in terms of your relationships, your social life, your money, and specific, your career, these things are going to kind of get released, and the restriction gets taken away from you. So as this restriction is now removed and you're feeling more stable, happier, more at peace, because the things that felt like they were out of your control are now in your control, it's going to put you in a space that is much more balanced, feeling much more peaceful. Again, a deep sense of personal empowerment, and how that empowerment can be reflected in the things around you. This eclipse is bringing forth so much viewpoints of how you have stood in your own way in terms of the ways in which you did not understand yourself properly, and how you, and it's, again, it's not about self-blame, but it's understanding the ways in which your subconscious beliefs or conscious beliefs about who it is that you are and your own worthiness has been standing in your way. And then now you're saying to yourself, okay, as we enter November, you're holding on to what it is that you've learned about yourself and your worth, and you want to see it expanded upon. You're no longer apologizing for who it is that you are. You're no longer seeing yourself as the underdog, seeing yourself as somebody who is invisible or doesn't have value. You're aware of these things, and you want to embrace all of that Scorpio power, and see it expressed on a multitude of levels. And as the end of the month comes into fruition, as we step into Sagittarius season, all of the things that you're manifesting in your subconscious during Scorpio season take huge expansion at that time, and you then start to see the application of it all. So it could be as simple as, I want to create this specific project, and I want it to look like this and feel like this and represent me in this specific kind of way. And all throughout Scorpio season, you're pumping all of this momentum and this clarity and manifestation and awareness. And with all of that, you're putting together the ideas, the concepts, the way it's going to feel, who it is that you need to be in order to bring it forward. And Sagittarius season comes about, and quickly you're able to bring it into the world, and boom, it's here for us to see, right? And it takes it on its own legs, and it's ready to walk. So these are the kind of things that are going to be taking place throughout the month of November. Again, it's not about stalling during Scorpio season, not at all. There's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of modes of expression, especially as the restrictions are removed. So things are serendipitous in terms of your work and your money and also your love life. But it's kind of like the process of swimming, where there aren't things that are standing in the way anymore, but it's more about where it is that you're going and what it is that you're creating. You're still in creation mode versus expansion mode or application mode during Scorpio season. Another thing as well, we have Mercury sitting in Scorpio right now. So your conversations up until the 9th of November are going to continue in this deep space, which is great for this eclipse energy, because you're not afraid to have the heavy conversations, the deep topics. You are addressing the things that have stood in your way, whether it be people, relationships, connections, family, issues with siblings, etc. Whatever it is that has stood in the way of your worthiness, you're not afraid to get cutthroat. You're not afraid to go there with what it is that you're saying and dive completely underneath in order to pull out whatever it is that has been standing in your way. So as we go through this transit and its energy continues to show itself for the next couple of days and then continuing for the next 2 weeks, you are in the right headspace to be able to heal whatever it is that has been blocking you completely, as everything comes to a complete end, as these cycles that have been going on for the past 2 years come to a complete end, because all of these dynamics are about power. And as we sit in Scorpio season, which is a sign that discusses ideas of power, who has power over whom, and how do you exercise it. These things are big topics for you because you will not let anything compromise your personal power anymore. You're not afraid to talk about it. You're not afraid to go there. This is also a good time in terms of therapy, healing, etc. But when the 9th comes around and we go into Sagittarius season, you now are thinking big ideas. So as you clear out all of the gunk that was sitting there and standing in your way, now you're like, I know exactly who it is that I am. I know what it is that I'm saying, and I want it to be big. I want it to be loud. And I want it to be expansive. So how is it that you can connect further away? Are you going into a scenario where you might be making more connections internationally? It could also be expanding your clientele internationally, going further away from your comfort zone in order to find yourself, in order to apply yourself. Especially with all of this new confidence, you're realizing that you can take all of the things that you have been healing and learning about you and give it to the world, because you want to be as far-reaching as possible and spread your narrative or your message as much as you can, which is good. So a lot of momentum in that department. And then we have Sagittarius. I'll keep talking about Mercury as well. Another big thing when it comes to Mercury is a lot of downloads when it comes to your visualizations, because Sagittarius is in your 12th house. So it's a lot of 12th house activation. And so you'll be able to articulate your visualizations or your dreams a lot better than you have in the past. During this time, I would say to look at them and pay attention to them as much as you can, because they can answer whatever questions you put toward during the daylight. So if you want to answer or see the other side of whatever it is that you're looking to seek, you may be able to find them more within these moments of visualization, dreaming, etc. And you'll be able to articulate them better, intellectualize them, understand them. The portal is very thin at this point. I would say all throughout November, the portal is very thin for you. We've got good things happening in your career as well. Like I said, a very nice flow. People are coming to you. People are desiring you. They're seeing you. They've been seeing you for a while. You guys have had people slowly gravitating towards your energy. November is no different. When Mercury goes into Sagittarius, people are going to want to hear what it is that you have to say. They want to be within your narrative. They want to hear your conversation. They want to know what it is that you think and believe, and be pulled into this other world when it comes to you and where it is that you have your beliefs or what it is that you want to say. So it's a good time to socialize. It's a great time to network. It's a great time to build partnerships and pull people into your narrative. And if you have clients, your clients are listening. So this is a good time to communicate with them and get them to see you deeper and understand you more than they have before. I would also say when it comes to Mercury, when we hit the 24th of the month, which is pretty late in the game, Mars goes into Sagittarius, and we're also going to be in Sagittarius season at that time. So again, a lot of 12th house activation. With that, we have really beautiful energy for you, a lot of flowing, a lot of travel, a lot of movement, a lot of good conversation. And again, a deep, deep spiritual space where you are heavy in your subconscious mind. You are aware of your manifestation abilities, and you can bring forth what it is that you desire the most, but in a way that is less pick it up and put it down, especially now that you know your worth and your value. You're no longer in a space where you feel like you have to overly prove. You understand that through the flick of a finger, you can work smarter and not harder. And there are so many things backing you up in that department. In general, Sagittarius season at the end of this month is just going to give you kind of like a breath of fresh air. And whereas the beginning of the month, it's not a bad thing, of course, but it's just a different energy. It's more quiet, it's more creative, it's more the build-up to Sagittarius season, which is just burst. You know, you want to go out, you want to experience more, you want to talk more, you're feeling more stable, you're feeling more secure. All of the good things that are going to be coming to you at the beginning of the month when it comes to your partnerships or your connections, your relationships, especially when it comes to work, are going to see you in a much more stable and happier place to be able to expand yourself more at the end of the month, which is even better. Another thing as well is we also have the Venus transit. So when Venus moves into Libra, which Venus has been sitting in Virgo for some time, helping us understand the value of love, especially when Virgo and Libra has met this Taurus eclipse. It's all about you, Capricorn, understanding the ways in which you have not been given enough to when it comes to love, how you've given and not received at the same rate, your awareness of what you want to receive, the pleasure that you want to experience, how you want to make sure that your dynamics are always equally yoked and not looking imbalanced in any way. Virgo has been teaching you about what it is that you deserve and how it is that you want to experience the best and the depth of pleasure and your connections, and not feel drained in any way when it comes to you connecting with others. And so when Venus goes into Libra now, it's entering your 10th house, which brings back a lot of the energy that you were going through at the beginning of October. So as we were moving through this eclipse, and that 10th house activation had you thinking, okay, I want to visualize this for my future. This is how I want to look. This is the kind of relationship I want to have. This is ideally where I'd want my career to be. A lot of those things are coming full circle now that we're moving into this Venus transit. And it's looking very beautiful, especially as it trines with a lot of the Sagittarius placements. There's a serendipity there, a beautiful relationship moving forward where the things that you visualize then you can actually start to see come into fruition now. You have the resources in order to bring them through and to create this more pleasurable experience that you desire the most for yourself, even just down to on a practical level, dressing the way that you desire to, looking the way that you desire to, loving your partner loving you the way that you wanted to, that restaurant that you guys wanted to go to, different things like that that you're able to now experience in its entirety as the Venus moves into Libra transit. And again, another thing about you is you're looking highly appealing. You guys have slowly been looking better and better as the months go by, but that Venus in Libra transit really has all eyes on you as it is in your 10th house. You are showing up in the world looking bright, beautiful, lovely, seductive, and very magnetic, which is classic seagoat energy. You have spent the time in your subconscious mind learning what it is that you wanted to create with matters of the 10th house, which is how you showed up. And now it's coming back for you to bring it to life and show the world what it is that you were thinking, which is great. Yeah, you can also romanticize things in terms of your pleasures. We also have expanded thinking, again, with this Venus-Mars connection. So how far can you go in terms of your love life and what it is that you want to see come through with your love life, or the way that you pamper yourself? The only issue that I would say is very prominent for this month is you may be running into oppositions when it comes to these beautiful desires that you desire to bring forth. So there can be opposing matters happening around anywhere between the 10th of the month and the 14th of the month, where it can be in the shape of a person, place, or thing, kind of standing up against you, creating a difficult opposition in terms of what it is that you want to see and experience in your life. But it's obviously something that you are meant to surpass and jump over, because ultimately you are going to create what it is that you desire the most. You are going to be able to see your life expand in the way that you have envisioned, and anything that stands in the way as an obstacle is just meant to be moved or headbutted, whatever. you know, depends on the go. Battery is about to die. November 22nd sees you going out more, spending more time with others. The 12th house, because there is so much 12th house activation, you may be dealing with a little confusion when it comes to your experiences subconsciously. Things that are running through your mind as well may be confusing you. I would just say to ground yourself when it comes to all of this. There's so much that is happening in your mind and what it is that you want to create, but it's an important time to ensure that you are grounded and paying attention and not just kind of steering off into dreamland and not realizing what it is that you are thinking about and what it is that you want to bring forth into reality. Deep manifestation energy, but it needs to be matched with that strong Capricorn focused forward movement that can bring anything that is in the mind into the forefront. Focus on achieving more than dreaming, because the dreaming is inevitable this time around. The end of November, because of the moon transit, you're going to be seeing yourself more focused on mindful activities, your health, and what it is that can bring you into a much better space. Because of all of the trauma that you guys have experienced for some time, your mental health is a big conversation for you, and it has been for some time. And the end of November is going to see you prioritizing your mental health in a way that you have neglected for a while. So it's just in time for your season, I would say. I would go gentle on yourself, especially as so many things are activating your 12th house. Things can kind of feel a little bit loopy. So getting a proper healing practice going, or connecting with a good healer, i.e. myself or anyone else, and making sure that you are creating that dialogue and grounding yourself as you lead deeper into your healing, and ensuring that you are setting yourself up for a better future after all it is that you have been through. That's extremely important. Okay, so we are going to get into the reading now. All right, Capricorn, let's do this. Alright, so Capricorn. Biggest thing I would say is that this feels very aggressive, feels very intense, it's really loud, it's very emotional, it's very painful, it's very, it feels like crashing waves up against a shore, like, just a lot of energy. There's a lot of stuff going on inside of you in terms of November and the things that you're battling. The first thing I look at here is what's going on in your shadow, and we have you struggling to heal here with the Four of Swords. Eight of Swords, which is self-imposed darkness. That, in my opinion, is a positive omen. Mainly because if you are the obstacle here, then that means this can be solved. Especially when you want to talk about the Four of Swords, because the Four of Swords is all about resting, it's recuperation, it's healing. You are the only thing stopping you from being in this space. You are not wanting to heal because of the things that you have experienced. And then here we have the Sun in the shadow, which is painful. You have a lot of negativity, there's a lot of fear moving through you. You are not feeling as if though you can see through this new beginning or your new experiences. That's a major arcana sitting in your shadow space. So that is a very loud thing to say. You are dealing with negativity. You are dealing with fear. You're dealing with feeling like you cannot see through this new beginning. When we look at what's going on with your subject this month, what do we see? We see the Temperance with patience, requiring you to have patience, equal give and take. The strength is asking you to have patience. Do you have the strength to see through the end of this? And here we have again the Five of Cups. I think I did a reading for you guys recently where the Five of Cups came out again in a similar way, where it was like the Five of Cups was kind of representing a block within the self, the way in which you were focusing, what you were focusing on, the things that you have lost up until this point. And these are all clarified by sabotage and not dealing, hurt, still angry, etc. So you're carrying a lot of weight. You're carrying a lot of things, because here we have this shadow. But the good thing is, it is you. So you're carrying it, but you also have the power to move past it. but you're dealing with whatever it is that you have been going through is blocking you. You are still dealing with frustration. You're still dealing with pain. It's interesting because there's like a lightheartedness that kind of came to find you guys at the end of October. And I wonder what will bring back in the feelings of irritation, aggravation, frustration that we see here. And it might be, again, this thing about patience, this thing about waiting, this thing about balance. You have to have strength here. Whenever the strength is showing itself, it's not necessarily saying something good. You know, you have to have the strength to prevail beyond the things that you have already lost. The spilled cups that are sitting here that you're looking at. And I definitely feel like you are justified in whatever it is that you're feeling, because you're still angry and you're still blocked, and it seems like it's definitely for a reason. And you're actively trying to move forward, but you're up against things that are hurting you, that are wounding you. Your advice here is the shock of the new with inner trust. It's the second time inner trust came out for you guys this month. And this time it feels a lot more heavy. It feels a lot more weighted. Versus in the reading that it showed up for before, it was more lighthearted. This one feels very weighted. You have to believe in the fact that your new beginning has found you. These two twin each other quite well, these two cards here. This is a fire card for me, while this card is more of an Aquarian card. But they definitely are very much twins to one another in terms of how the artwork shows itself. It's the same feeling, the same dynamic of this expansion of the mind, the things going around the mind. Almost like an explosion of new beginning, of awareness, of understanding. And here we have your healing point and your advice. There is new. You have to trust that there is new. But there are also spilled cups. There are things to be sad about. This is not just self-imposed. There are things to be sad about. There are things that you have lost. There is pain that you have felt. There are cups that definitely have been spilled. And it's causing you a lot of emotional upheaval because of what you lost versus what it is that you wish to gain. And you're blocked. You're deep in your negative mindset. You're feeling very negative. You're feeling self-imposed. You're feeling like you can't trust in your healing. You're feeling like you can't trust in this new beginning. You can't trust that things are going to be okay. The Temperance is not just about patience, but it's also about healing. What does it mean to heal in a way that takes more time, that takes more energy? The give and take. The flow moving from one area to the other. And the Temperance is also about understanding the balance, the flow that exists within ourselves. You're continuously working toward it, but you are still holding on to these boundaries and these blocks. And normally I love that card because I love boundaries, but in this case, you're hurting yourself this time around because you don't feel strong enough to prevail based on what it is that you have lost or the wounds that it is that you are dealing with inside. When the Temperance as a major arcana shows up, we got two major arcanas going on in terms of what's going on this month, and it's adding to this loud feeling. Your personal journey is very loud during the month of November, and I think it's due in part to what has happened up until this point. And I don't necessarily see you feeling like giving up here, but you just feeling very jaded, very wounded. Even defeated in a way, possibly. That could be a possibility. Let's read your healing points. All right, we're going to start with Yogini. Changes in your life, including closed doors and missed opportunities, are not going to derail your fulfillment. Again, double confirmation on this Five of Cups. staring at these spilled cups, looking at what you lost. It's understanding that what it is that it seems like you have lost or not is not going to stand in the way of what it is that you seek to gain or what you will gain. Realignments are happening based on divine wisdom and timing. You are being diverted from unnecessary obstacles and suffering. Trust in how your life path is unfolding or has unfolded. Stay true to your authentic healing journey because it is working, whether you realize that or not. Significant inner healing is taking place. So again, trusting in this journey of this process that you're going through and the time that it's taking to go through it, you have to surrender because you're standing in your own nightmare at this point. You're standing in your own way. You have to realize that you have the strength to heal. You have the strength to move on and to create this new narrative in the timing that it's asking you for. But if you hold on to this rage or frustration, it's only going to keep you blocked. There is new here. There's so much new, but it's almost like the fear that it doesn't really exist. How do you step forward when it feels like you've been back for so long? Eschew complicated explanations as you seek the simplicity of the deepest truth of your heart. Gently but firmly cast aside that which does not resonate as being true to your heart. Focus upon and speak from a higher spiritual perspective. All prayers are answered at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Again, back with notions of time. You have a powerful voice which can foster healing and wisdom. So again, we're going back to this space of fulfillment. What does it mean to push aside that which does not serve? Going back to this feeling of the Five of Cups. Whatever it was that was taken away, whatever it is that you feel like failed or didn't come through the way that you desire it to, it's time to put it aside because it's understanding that what has been lost is lost. And it was meant to be lost because it was what puts you on the path that it is that you're in right now. Because again, we have new. Almost as if you're afraid to create what's new because you're focused on what it is that has gone or what it is that you have lost or what it is that you think that you desire. It's a lot of blocks, like just feeling very blocked, very limited, very scared, concerned, stressed, confused, sitting at an intersection of the past and the future. But it's not to say that you're not doing this actively, because you are. Here you are in this space, you are healing, you are desiring to heal, you are actively in this space of surrendering to what it is that's happening in front of you. In terms of timing, in terms of healing, in terms of balance, patience, calmness in a sense, even though your boundaries are very strong. But you have to stop resisting healing, you have to stop resisting growth. It's like you're feeling strong and you're pushing forward and you have this balance here, but it's almost like the strength is blocking, almost like the thing that you're pushing out in order to cover up these spilled cups, this sadness that sits within. Focus on what is new. Trust yourself to focus on what is new and to cast aside which no longer serves. The things in the past that went wrong. This is all about balance. In order to step out of this dark space, you have to trust in what is happening now. And a lot of this goes back to, again, your personal identity with the way you view yourself, your healing, your worth, you've been standing in your own way for a while. And it's not to take away from the fact that there are very literal things that took place because, again, we've got confirmation on fulfillments not coming through, opportunities being taken away, things that truly did damage you. But at this point, you're standing in your own way based on your own inability to not want to heal. To not want to step out of your own way. You have the strength to move forward, to move on, to create what is new here. And keeping these boundaries is good, it's important. Don't go back, only go forward. But don't put yourself into self-sabotage because you're trying so hard to cover up what it is that you feel. Step into the new and close those old doors. Understand that everything that has happened up until this point was to get you to where it is that you are right now, which is in this very balanced and stable, peaceful, strong space. There's a lot of growth here. And trust yourself to create. That's all I keep wanting to say. Trust yourself to create. You're okay. Don't self-sabotage. Don't let this get the best of you. Again, like I said, the bottom of the deck of your advice showed up here as after the storm. The storm has definitely been, I keep wanting to say fought for some reason, like almost like as if a war. What are we looking at in terms of the energy with your personal journey this month? Because we got your subject here as a Temperance, which is a very calm, very balanced energy, but it also requires you to be still. So is it that you're dealing with things that are testing you, or is it the past that's testing you? What is the energy, the overall atmosphere? And those flipped over. Overall atmosphere. Five of Swords, Seven of Cups, and the card that flipped over before was the Nine of Wands. Now, so there are actual battles going on here. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense. So you are still fighting something. You're still feeling wounded. You're still feeling a bit lost. So the atmosphere is one of confusion, one of wounds, one of fight. Not necessarily war, but it's more like ending the fight, putting down the fight, but not knowing necessarily where to go. This is a very eerie, confusing space to be in. So whatever it is that you're battling, the atmosphere of what it is that you're going through on a personal level is still feeling like this wounded warrior that doesn't know where to go or what to do. You are tired. You are tired. And you want to see through this energy, but it's hard to, which explains why you're looking at these spilled cups. But again, whatever it is that you feel like you have lost or whatever it is that is hurting you, you have to cast aside that which no longer serves and put it to rest because it was made to get you to the right place. Dwelling on it is only going to continue to hurt you. And in many ways, is this feeling of being wounded and being this tired fighter who's confused, is it something that is actually fighting you, or is this the feeling that you've been carrying? Because again, we have this Eight of Swords in the shadow with this Four of Swords in the sun. It's Is this the atmosphere that you've created for yourself because of where it is that you have been? But this is here. At the end of the day, these still are external factors that are creating this feeling. You just don't know how to get out of it. But you get out of it through trusting yourself and moving toward only what's new. Letting go of what feels familiar will be the answer. And in terms of your major arcanas for this subject, we've got the Temperance and the Strength are stronger and showing up with much more intensity than this Five of Cups. So this is a perception. These feelings of confusion, or like you're trying to see through the end of this chapter, is creating a perception, because this doesn't have to be as weighted as you're feeling or thinking that it is. You have to let go of what has gone to allow for what is coming in. And that'll release this heaviness or this intensity that I'm feeling from these waves crashing around this storm. So a lot of breathing when it comes to the self. Staying calm. Okay, Capricorn. So that was your reading. Love you. Ciao.